Creating art has always been, I guess, a vent. Even if I'm drawing a ridiculously brutal, bloody scene of monsters tearing at each other, just the act of sitting there drawing that is actually relaxing to me. It just helps calm me and feel just sort of better about stuff. You know, something that's always drawn me to art has just been the freedom to express yourself. That level of being able to create something that didn't exist and then it does. And hopefully, I feel if it's done well, it's conveying something. It's hopefully getting people to think something about it. My earliest memories with art, it's got to be third grade. And I don't think I was supposed to be drawing at the time. It wasn't an art class. But I remember drawing Batman and Robin catching a bad guy, and the bad guy was tied up to a light post. I just had a natural ability, I guess, and I just knew that I liked drawing. It's so fun looking at these things it's been years and years since I've looked through this book. Using art to cope with like emotional or difficult situations, if that has ever been a thing for me, it hasn't been a conscious thing for me. I do know that any time after the fact, when I'm done, I always feel better.
Being creative is actually really stimulating. Getting into a creative zone is actually kind of a flow for some people. You see art therapy with people who are struggling with addiction, mood disorders, depression, bipolar disorder. There's really no restriction to how art can be helpful in a recovery and healing process. It can serve as a distraction when things are not going well. These look like some things that a lot of people would probably be facing.
Yeah, the happy and the...
Some people are just innately drawn to actually getting into art, and the creative process is something that they just find very helpful.
This past year, I was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. Adenocarcinoma, which is the type of lung cancer. I have one primary tumor sitting right about here in my right lung, and it has metastasized, which means it's spread to some other areas of my body. There's a bunch of lymph nodes on the side of my heart that impacted my breathing, and that's how my wife finally said, you need to go to the doctor. The summer of 2017, we started doing the high peaks in the Adirondacks, beautiful state park in New York State. It was time to start again in 2018, and it was our first hike of the season, and I just could not catch my breath. I was worried, but I was optimistic. And then when I was told it was stage 4, it was incurable, it was in the bone, that got me a little bit more. That's like, all right, now we're not playing.
Our family has been pretty close and involved in doing a lot of things together. I mean, it's just changed every aspect of our lives. We, I think, have shared a lot of very active hobbies and considered ourselves healthy and active. And so this was devastating. And it's just...
I would say very little of it is about me. Most of it is about my family, because maybe this could get me. For all I know, will I be around next Christmas? Will I be around next birthday? Will I be around? Once I was diagnosed with cancer, it was time to start watching all of the cancer movies and what are people doing, and what are the best ways to go about handling your therapy. In one of these movies, a woman talked about visualization. So I'm sort of taking this in, thinking I can do that. I can do visualization. I'm a visual person. I can do this. I was put into a situation where I was forced to, it was a PET scan. They wanted to make sure there was no cancer in my brain. And you can't do anything for an hour. You literally are forced to sit in the dark and do nothing. I decided this was a perfect time to visualize. And as I'm sitting there trying to do it, I'm getting hung up on the weirdest things. What do they look like? Do they have weapons? Do they have arms? Do they have legs? So as I'm sitting there sort of frustrated, it dawns on me that I could draw these. I could come up with different looks and different character styles and different personalities, really, for the white blood cell characters. And I know the cancer I would want to draw as really just demonic and evil, and you're rooting for them to get killed. I had discussed it with my wife, and I honestly don't remember whose idea it was. It was either me or my wife, but one of us must have said, this would make a cool coloring book. Drawing this stuff is absolutely therapeutic, but it might be therapeutic in ways that people wouldn't necessarily think right off the bat. I'd like to say that as I'm sitting there drawing them, the whole time I'm sitting there drawing them, I'm thinking about, yes, this is my white blood cell killing my cancer, and this is, and it doesn't work quite like that for me. When I'm in the process of drawing, I'm sort of lost a little bit in the process of drawing. Then afterwards, they have their form. Maybe they have a little bit of a, we can sort of see what the personality is of this white blood cell. And this guy's a little bit more of a bad boy, and this guy's a little bit more of a goofball. I now have them in my brain, and I can use them for my visualization.
People end up using their artwork as a way to look at symbolism in their life. Sometimes people see things in a way that makes better sense to them because it's nonverbal, and they can see like a pictorial or a symbol of something. It gives the person an opportunity to kind of put a problem outside of themselves, so they don't have to identify with something like a cancer diagnosis. It helps them see that that's not who they identify as, but something that is a part of them.
So when I started this and I decided this was going to be a coloring book, I thought at first it was going to be a very adult coloring book, and then it dawned on me, it will take me forever if I'm going to draw blood and guts splurting everywhere. Plus, who knows if there's a market for that. I'd like this to be something that will appeal to a lot of other people who are going through what I'm going through.
I think these coloring books could benefit other people with cancer in the same way that they will hopefully benefit us in terms of being able to help with the visualization of the white blood cells killing the cancer cells and just reinforce that concept. Creating that connection between what's going on in your mind and your body, I think could be very powerful.
The idea of taking something like this and being able to share it with hundreds or hopefully thousands of other people eventually, and to think that they could benefit from it the way I can benefit from it, it's given me that sense of purpose. And I think I really needed that without knowing that I needed that. This is a way that I can sort of take this and present it to the world and to others as, okay, this is what I'm doing while I'm dealing with my cancer. And it just gives me that feeling that I'm being productive and maybe even being helpful. And I'm hoping that's what it ends up becoming.